Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Programming with a Purpose. Today I'm going to address some of the most frequently asked questions about my channel and about my creator journey as well as about my programming experience as a coder for over a decade. So let's get started with your questions. So the first question is how I've chosen this name Programming with a Purpose because it is like iOS focus, so I should have kept some name that involves Swift or iOS in it. So the initial plan was to create videos across domains like from game development, app development, as well as from shell scripting and other languages and stuff that I've learned over a course of almost 1 decade. So, but when I started creating tutorials for game development, I thought it is going to be a bit tough because I did not have any free resources available in terms of characters and in terms of, other prefabs and other stuff that you usually required when you create games with Unity. So I have restricted myself to iOS. Eventually, basically, this was the niche that was created from all of the data and analytics that I've obtained after creating certain number of tutorials. So most of the people were interested in learning iOS development. And so I have shifted my focus to that. But obviously you cannot change the channel name, so it remained like this, Programming with a Purpose. And purpose means basically to create some useful apps and stuff that is going to help you to not only learn it, but basically get an idea that what useful stuff can be built with using all of your coding techniques. So the next question is the motivation behind the channel. So motivation was basically I really wanted that we usually learn coding from a theoretical point of view, that what are basically the data types and other environmental stuff, how you are going to configure the environment, how you are going to write and code. But I started with this mentality that you have to have a problem in your mind that you want to fix and you are going to build a code around it. So I have done some videos initially with that purpose in mind, but obviously with all of the algorithmic stuff and other limitations by YouTube, you have to eventually switch to the theoretical stuff as well. It also helps you to learn and grow as a developer. But I have created a lot of different type of my development journeys for some apps. Like I have covered climate sense. I have covered a lot of videos on lidar, on ARKit, which was quite interesting for me. So there are a lot of videos that cover the practical stuff, especially the video that helps you to count people in a video, in a sample video. So that's sort of stuff I wanted to explore. So the purpose came from there inside the programming. So how did you decide that Swift UI was the path you wanted to go down? So I think it is never decided by you until and unless you have like a very interest in a certain domain. So basically you decide the domain and the technology is basically picked up over time with your comfort level and with usage and all. So I've started off with Objective-C. I worked a little bit on that. After that, I moved to UI Kit, and the Swift UI transition was a bit difficult in the sense that although Swift UI is quite easy to use, but when you are moving from UI kit to it, you are quite skeptical about basically the type of functions that are available, how you are going to go about the different things that can easily be done with a technology that is developed over a number of years. So initially, porting to Swift UI was a bit tough because a lot of things changed very quickly over time. But after a certain time, it got stable, the versions got stable, the language got stable, and it became easier to just implement it. And obviously, after 2 to 3 years, you are pro in a language. So basically, now it's quite easy. So I did not decide it. It is just the journey of iOS development that leads you to it eventually. So what is the most ambitious tutorial I've created so far? So I was very, very happy with the tutorials that I've created initially, because you are early on in your creative journey, you do not care much about the audience, but you create what you feel is basically you enjoy creating. So I've created an app, Climate Sense, that gave you an idea of climate data, how to display it on Google Maps. It was very limited in the sense that I did not integrate any external APIs, but the basic idea was to get, since the climate is changing very frequently. So we have to have this data somewhere centralized. It can be either community driven or by exploring certain websites from different governments, because there are a lot of websites, but the data is decentralized. So basically, we should have a server or a place where we can consolidate that data that is going to help us to understand the climate patterns, as well as alarm the users depending upon the climate severity. It can also predict the overall climate change that is going to happen over a course of 4 or 5 years. That is going to help users to basically decide that if they want to live, work, or build a life here or not. That was the main idea. But I've limited it to showing like tornadoes, fires, and all of that environmental and climate stuff on the Google Maps. And it has certain filters. So basically, it involved the usage of MapKit and stuff like that. It was I loved creating that, and I also loved creating the LiDAR tutorials. Climate Sense did not give me much engagement, but LiDAR was like amazing. I have got a lot of people who have slipped into my DMs and asked about help related to that stuff. So, if you're working with sensors, I have always loved working with them. You can do a lot of fun stuff with it. So the next question is, what is your most difficult aha moment with Swift UI? So initially, the state saving at the rate of state, at the rate of published, observed, object, when you are working with all of that, it becomes quite confusing. It do not, if you only keep studying the basic code or the theory, you'll not be able to understand that why they are so powerful and helpful. But once you do 2 to 3 projects with it, or a little bit of a complicated project, which involves like 10 to 15 views, you are going to love that, how it is going to be so easy as compared to other languages that are not state driven. So this is one of the most fun thing you are going to do, which seems quite complicated initially, but it make things a lot easier if you're working with like bigger projects or more basically medium to large scale projects. It is going to be one of the most useful features of Swift UI. So I have basically understood its usage after working like some big projects, the actual usage of it. So why I created the beginner series when there are a lot of series already there. So basically I just want to add a flavor of my understanding and my teaching skills to it. So I have gone through all of the Apple documentation before creating any part, and I have basically gone through all of the scenarios in my head to make it easier for the users to understand. Some of the users connected with it, but obviously, since I was quite late into this domain, there are a lot of already established names. So I do not get much engagement, but there are some videos like concurrency, actors, and stuff like that that has got me a lot of basically queries over those videos. So I really loved creating it. It is basically a lot of a great learning experience for the creator, because you are diving into the core concepts. And I've done it after almost 2 to 3 years. So it was lovely learning and teaching you in that series. So what is the biggest misconception about iOS development early on? So I have since started with Objective-C. Objective-C was basically a nightmare if you have worked with SwiftUI or the latest languages. It was quite tough to work with it because you have to care a lot for the memory management. So I thought basically it was a platform thing. It's not a language thing. But over the years, the way SwiftUI has developed, it has made programming very easy to manage and basically to do and to create anything you want. So that was my misconception about SwiftUI initially, or iOS platform. Apart from iOS, the most fun project you worked on. So once I worked with a client for an app which is developed in Unity. It is about a time tracking sort of app and organization app that is basically restricted to kids. So it was a really fun project. It was so good with its graphics, with all of its features, with all of its animations. It was like really good. And also, as a part of my job, in some early years of my development, I have worked on a project in which I need to create some malwares. So I have written malwares for like heap spraying and for like hooking. So it was developed in C++, and it was for Windows platform for the testing of a certain product. I cannot disclose the details here, but it was so fun to write. Obviously, it was in a very controlled environment. It was not a public sort of a thing, but it was fun to see how you are going to convert and manipulate even the heads to create a certain kind of an impact on a tool. So it gives you a lot of understanding of the internal architecture and machine code and stuff like that. So what debugging development habit do you find useful that I've developed over time? So basically using shortcuts. I did not use the shortcuts earlier, but it makes your life so much easy. So I would recommend any developer, whichever tool or environment you work with, learn the shortcuts first. It is going to basically help you a lot with, the manual labor. So if someone is totally new to iOS development, what path will you recommend from development to publishing? So I am going to recommend that learn about the basics. Follow any series, a shorter form or a documentation, but just get a hang of the basics. It is going to help you to build the most complex apps on the top of it without, losing track of things. Because with AI, things have gotten a lot easier, but a lot messier. So if you ask AI to write a code, it is going to repeat the code a lot. It is going to make a lot of mistakes, and it is going to detect and track them. It is going to become like a huge task if you have no understanding of how things are working. So give yourself almost 3 to 4 months. Be comfortable with the language, or at least use AI to teach you a language or skills, and then get started with it. And in publishing, you can take the help from the latest series, in which I have given you some of the pointers or problems that you encounter when you're publishing. So basically, there is going to be terms and conditions and privacy policy hosted on Google Sites or any website. If you have that hosting inside your project, use that, create stuff like that, which is going to show you which sort of data is being collected by your app. You should be very transparent with it. For privacy policy, you can use some online tools and provide certain information about your app there, and it is going to create the basically the technical stuff or the privacy policy. You do not have to write it yourself. For like images and things like that, you can use some free resources. You can use Canva to create those. So these are some of the tips and tricks that I've shared inside my series as well, and you can watch a lot of series from other creators and learn what are the real challenges in creation and publishing. Because now when you go through the process, you are going to learn and uncover a lot of things on your end also. Because it is, no matter AI is there, it is going to help you a lot, but there are a lot of problems where the help that is provided by AI would not be enough for you to handle the situation. Plus, in terms of coding, I'm going to recommend you that learn it first, like at least spend 2 to 3 months in it. Otherwise, the AI hallucinations or any of the other stuff, the code which is basically redundant inside that, you will not be able to figure that out, and it is going to be a big problem. Even if you ask AI to remove it, it is definitely going to remove some of the good parts also. The models are evolving at a much, greater pace, but still having a basic idea of the language or the architecture and things like that is going to help. Also, learn to structure the code. What are the different patterns? Learn about that. And on just a rough paper or on Xcode, just create few projects, just to get an idea that how you are going to structure it. Just do some brainstorming, because these things are going to matter in the longer run. AI is going to code, but the structuring, the things, um, how we are going to organize it, because once it gets bigger, it is going to create a lot of problems in managing the code, in updating, features, or in bug fixing. It is going to delete and add a certain stuff at places which you are not be able to track. For other stuff, once you have created a code and a structure and some basic views, you can ask AI to help you with it, because then it's going to learn the structure of the code, that how it is going to be helpful. So these tools are very important, but these are just tools. They cannot do your entire work. Maybe if it is just a very simple app, like 2 to 4 pages of app, the complexity is not that much. It will be able to create it. But if you really want your app to expand beyond a certain level, and to build it, like the professional apps already there on App Store. So you have to learn it a bit, invest some time, invest some money, buy different tools and different. You should have a basic understanding of the tools and technologies, basic patterns, and understand some basics of the language in which you are going to build the app. After that, you can use AI like confidently, because you then know what is actually AI doing to your code. If not even like the entirety of it, but you will get a basic idea that in which direction the AI is leading your app to. You are actually happy with that, not only the UI stuff. So basically, get a little bit hands on into the technology. So, this is all. These are all of your questions, and I really hope it might have helped some of you. If there are any comments or queries, post in the comment section. And if there are any more questions, do ask. I might convert it into a series if I find, people engaging with this content. And if there are any other interesting tutorials or problems you want me to address, do let me know. And do not forget to like and share this video, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.